All right, so you're still on the AM show, and you know there's an initiative for government agencies to use knowledge management to realize the combined benefits from strong economic and institutional regime, education, innovation, and ICT. Now, each of these knowledge economy pillars has a unique contribution in creating a knowledge-based organization or economy. And when carefully implemented as a corporate strategy or a national reform initiative program, KM will lead to economic growth and development. So the group is the Knowledge Kinetics Group. But the CEO, Dr. Edwin Champong, is also the head of the Knowledge Management Desk at the Ghana Revenue Authority. And he joins me in the studio right now to speak with us about this initiative. So thank you very much, Doc, for making time to be with us in the studio. So I've had to say a lot about, I've had to use a lot of English words, very verbose, but I want you to explain to us, what is this movement trying to get public sector agencies to be more efficient?
Thank you, Israelai, and I want to thank the Joy FM team and multimedia for the opportunity. Before I answer your question, Israel, please permit me to say hi to the organization.
Right.
The name is Knowledge Kinetics Organization,
Right.
an NGO that is poised to position every Ghanaian to apply information knowledge, number one, and number two, to facilitate Ghana's effort, Ghana's desire to become a knowledge-based economy.
All right.
Right. So thank you very much. So to your question, what is knowledge management? Well, knowledge management, if you want to be technical, has to do with all the systems.
That's not to be technical.
Or in fact, I'll come down. Maybe for those.
No. We don't want the technicalities at all. Let's go straight to, so that we can get to appreciate.
Definitely. In fact, knowledge management is nothing but creating the environment so that the individual or the corporate entity, one, knows what it knows, two, knows what it doesn't know, three, makes an effort, to bridge that information knowledge gap and to connect to global knowledge resources and best practices. That is it.
Right.
So know what you know what you don't know, takes a step to bridge the gap, and then connect to global, what is happening elsewhere that we can bring in.
So take a typical organization, public sector organization, and see and explain it to us.
Right. So we have DVLA, we have the Registered General Department. Let me use the Registered General Department.
Maybe the DVLA, because a lot of us go to DVLA.
The DVLA. Right. So DVLA, does DVLA knows what it knows? So for instance,
what should they know?
That is it. So for instance, DVLA want to implement blockchain technology. Is there a way that DVLA will know that we have somebody, a staff within DVLA setup who has this expertise?
All right.
So this is what happens. So most of the time, the institutions, public sector, public institutions, do not know what they know. So for this particular case, they will bring in an expert from the UK.
All right.
Takes so much, but we do very little, or we use even the resource within DVLA.
Okay.
That is it. But meanwhile, if there were systems in place, they would have known that, look, this guy is privately, reading something on blockchain technology. So that's an example. Okay. Knowing what you know. Okay. So we have so much expertise in the public sector, public space, that is not known to management. That is not known to the authorities. And we are spending lots and lots of money importing experts who come to use our own knowledge. It is sad.
All right.
Knowing what you know.
So how does this initiative seek to cure this problem?
That is it. So we are saying that if that is it, then we have to create the environment so that every CEO, every director general, every minister will know what they have to know. It is two-pronged. The authorities, and us, the citizens.
All right.
So for the authorities, if you are the CEO, how would you know whatever you need to know? Number one, create the systems. For instance, who comes to work? Let me use this because who comes to work late, for instance? You put a full scap. When I come late, I should write Edwin Champon. I arrive 11 a.m. It's just like we don't do that. You see? And so all the time, the attendance sheet goes that everybody came in, early on time. Yet people come in after 12. Yet it's not known. So the CEO wouldn't know. The CEO wouldn't know until something happens. Hey, so it means all this while people, about half the staff even come to work after 12.
Right.
So to bridge that, we are saying that you don't need to do much. Set up, electronic, control gate, clocking system. That is it. So Israel, you realize that what we are seeking to do is to provoke administrators of our economy to be innovative, to be creative, to think outside the box, and that is it. It's like I'm telling you, the Galamsey menace and all that, you know, gibberish that is happening within the public service. If we should apply knowledge management, the president will sleep. Let me give you the Galamsey. It is topical.
All right.
Assuming the president, you know, anytime he gets to the office, he has screens where he sees all the Galamsey sites. What will happen? Galamsey will stop. It's like, what will it take for us to establish this? Nothing. So they are screens.
Would need, you know, maybe
that is it.
Drones. Would need.
They're already there. It's like, I want to make this.
No, but they are not on the field.
What is there to deploy one onto the field? Nothing. It's like, I can say on authority.
Because if you say we're supposed to get these, if you suggest, for instance, that we're supposed to get drones, and
on Galamsey sites,
on Galamsey
capture each site,
and cameras.
Yes.
Then it comes to procurement, and you know this country and procurement. If we're going to procure,
Israeli, we have the military, dispatch to the place. Their cost alone. But you know, one drone, you can even have just one drone programmed that this time you're on this site, this time, and we have the recordings. Nobody even needs to man the recordings.
There is
a gap.
There's one thing having the knowledge, and another thing deciding to apply the knowledge.
That is it. It's like you've hit right on the nail. It's like all that we are doing will be a fiasco, no matter how you believe in it, if we don't have leadership support.
So you can have this initiative going, you can gather all the knowledge that you gather, and yet at the end of the day, if they are not applying whatever knowledge you have,
it is not applying. The citizenry, the employees, the public servants, they have no choice. If my Commissioner General says that, you know, put on tax, who am I? But if there are no systems for him to know that we don't put it on, nothing happens. So, Israeli, let me make this point. It may be controversial, but that is what it is. Okay. In fact, our constitution captures it. There is something we call discretionary power. You see, Ghana's being, having emanated from a knowledge information gap, you see, it is exploited by what I call the discretionary, the capricious exercise of discretion by leadership. You see, what we are saying, if things are happening, if there are standards, you see, the leader must comply. Example, you see, I have the client service charter for the information ministry, right, signed by, you know, our honorable. Now, in there, they are saying that we shall respond to correspondence in how many days? In complaints in 2 days. That is it. So it is here. You see, but where we don't have anything like that, you write to the ministry, nobody even responds.
So it is there, but is it?
So back to the question, it is two. One, there is a gap. So most institutions, in fact, you can call the Public Service Commission and Head of Civil Service to tell you how many of our institutions, about 500, have client service charter. It is sad. The president launched what we call the National Public Sector Reform Strategy in May 2018. Please, it is sad.
Let's come back to application of this initiative that you're talking about. You mentioned the DVL a bit. You talked about the fact that if in an organization the CEO knows
what he needs to know
and what he needs to know,
that is it.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
But I still ask the question: you can know what you know, and you may decide not to apply it.
In fact, that is where discretionary comes in. Can you give me 2 reasons why the president knows that after putting this phone here, Galamsey will stop and will not do it? That is it. So you see, if leadership fails, nothing works. In fact, our concept, our proposition is based on, you know, exquisite leadership. A leader who wants to see Ghana develop like Dubai, like the UK.
Yeah.
You see, so one, the leadership is not, you know, positioning themselves to know what they need to know, or not putting enough systems to know what they need to know to bridge, you know, those kind of corrupt practices in the system.
Now, let's say you go to DVLA.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to implement this
like
knowledge management initiative. How will you go about it?
That is it. It's a lie. The first thing, I want to see the registrar general, is a DVLA, so the director general down. One question, please, do you want to see DVLA, you know, become efficient? Yes or no? When he takes the box, yes, it's right, we are done. If he's ambivalent, if he's unsure, we don't start. Because once he say yes, do you know how we start? We prepare a client service charter. Okay. You can call DVLE. They are now developing one.
Okay.
It is better late than never. So there's this client service charter developed that these are the standards. When somebody renews licenses, it takes 3 days. And then CEO calls, give me the report weekly. How many licenses were we able to deliver in 3 days? Look, things will just change. So one is leadership. Once we get leadership right in this country, usually our public service will become like the UK.
But you see, we can have, how about we do away, okay, minus this initiative that you're talking about. If we also have the leadership in place and working effectively as we expect them to work, we probably don't need this. We should still develop. You see,
the gap will still be there. Usually, let me ask you, Goroboism, is it stopped? It is not. No. You see, but can it be stopped? It can be stopped. You see, how can it be stopped? The citizenry must have the information. When I apply, it is 3 days, I get it. If I don't get it in 3 days, per their own client service charter, I need to make a report to this place and I'll be compensated. And that's it. So, first and foremost, leadership does not have a client service charter. So I go to apply for license or passport or whatever. I don't know how many days. Let me make this bold statement. Our vice president is championing digitization. It is excellent. For knowledge management, yes, it is an enabler, not an end in itself. So I can tell you, if the vice president does not incorporate knowledge management, look, it will be most of the things, in fact, it will have some impact, but most of it will be like powder on debt. Because if you don't get the systems right, you see, I sit at home and apply for my passport. Now it's time to go and collect. 2 months, 3 months, I don't get it, I'll look for a good boy. So it is not enough to apply online.
Right.
We must get the systems right by introducing knowledge management. And of course, now you know, the boss knowing what he needs to know.
And
knowing
what
that
he doesn't know.
And what he doesn't know, and how to bridge the gap. And that is it.
All right. Thank you very much for the conversation. I mean, it's something that we can keep talking about.
We can keep talking. Right.
And get to practicalize it, really, because that's how we can take advantage and advance it. But thank you very much, Dr. Champong, Dr. Edwin Champong. He's CEO of the Knowledge Kinetics organization, and he has joined us to tell us about what they're doing. We'll give you all the support that we can. In fact, that's why we brought you onto the show, so you can talk about it, so people will get to subscribe to it. So I'd encourage all of you out there, and it's not just for public sector organizations. No. For private organizations as well. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you,
we're taking a break on the AM show. When we come back, we have Showbiz. Don't go anywhere.